Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. This is Mars here. I'm here with my boys, PD and Cal. Say what's up, gents.
Hey, what's going on?
Yo, ready to rock.
Well, in DC's Ultimate Wisdom, they've dropped another Batman title this month. This one, of course, is being written by Matt Fraction, and the art is by Jorge Jiminez. And so far, it is well received. I'm here with the boys. Um, PD is going to drop a trailer so we can see a little bit about it, and you tell us what you think. I mean, we'll tell you what we think about it, and you can tell us what you think about it.
Ready, set, we're going.
Selector, drop it.
All right, Mars, you get first licks, man. I'm gonna rip this up.
I mean, look, there's nothing to rip up. It's Matt
Oh, yes, there
Fraction's
is.
interpretations. No, it's Matt Fraction's interpretation of Batman.
Uh-uh.
Basically, everybody wants to write the
And I'm gonna rip up his
everybody
interpretation.
everybody wants to write. Everybody wants to draw the latest Batman. They want to make
Did
because
you like that? Did you like what you saw?
of course I like what I saw. It looked good. I got the comic. I'm not even going to deny it. Look.
What did you like about it?
I
Tell me
like the
one thing
look.
you liked about it.
I'm telling you what I liked about it. It looks good. The art came out pretty well. It's a new take, but look, I'm I, I have a lot to say. Petey, why don't you
You didn't
start
like
off?
it.
I got a lot to say.
You didn't like it.
I liked it, man.
I'll just say that the art looks interesting.
Yes, very interesting.
I see his name around there. Matt Fraction is does a lot of indie stuff, but he's come back and forth into the mainstream. I think if we going through his past work of superheroes, I think what was it
Daredevil,
Fear Itself that he worked on, which I was
Hawkeye.
well, yeah, okay, so he's done a bunch of stuff, so and
Thor.
a lot of indie stuff. So maybe there's some things I didn't like out of his work. Some of his indie stuff, I guess I did some stuff I did like, but I don't know if it's a thing for me, but it looks okay.
Okay.
I'm waiting to hear what you have to say. You're the
Uh,
Batman fan.
I'm waiting to hear what you got to say.
All right. I don't see the need for this at all. You've got Batman here. You've got Immortal Batman running around, and you got at least two other Batman titles. And then the premise of this, Commissioner Gordon is a beat cop again, and Alfred
Wait,
is
wait.
still dead.
Give
Okay?
us the
Alfred
background
has
on this.
been dead.
Give us the background for this whole thing. You know what it's about. Tell us what it's about.
I'm the only one who knows what it's about.
It
The
sounds like
Batman
you know what it's
fan.
about.
Without giving too much away, in the previous series, Commissioner Gordon sided with Bat. Oh, the other thing I forgot. Batman's on the out with the cops. So once again, he's a fugitive, and he's not like deputized any longer by Gotham City Police, because we've known that's always worked out pretty well. Anyway, so he's not deputized any longer. The cops are pretty much, look, they'll arrest him if they can get their hands on him. Good luck with that. And because Gordon sided with him, he got demoted. So now he's a beat cop. I'm forgetting who he's working with in that first issue. No, it's a new character. It's a new character that he's working with. I thought it was Renee Montoya for a second. So Gordon's back on, I don't know, how old is Gordon? Like 82? So Gordon's back on the beat. And what's more, Batman is driving around in the Batmobile with an AI version of Alfred. And that's when I realized Alfred is still dead. Alfred's been dead longer than Jor-El. This is ridiculous. If you have an AI Alfred, you know what you could actually have? A real Alfred. It's a comic book. Just bring him back. I don't understand why he's been dead so long. So, I'm looking at these things and then I'm like, what was the purpose? This is actually a reboot. Okay. It's a soft reboot. It's in continuity, but this is a status quo reboot for some reason. I don't know why, because I'm not a regular Batman reader like that. I just wanted to be in line with what I was seeing right over here. I don't get this at all. If this was, no, I don't get this. Even if this was like an Elseworld series, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Now, Jorge Jimenez's art, I have always been partial to. So that is definitely a saving grace, even though I think the whole light up gloves is stupid. But what's the point? What's the point in this status quo shakeup right here? And it's not the first time they've done something like this. We had Nightfall and Night's End and Night's Return. We had all that stuff before. Prodigal. I don't understand the need for these particular changes. I think the idea of Gordon being a beat cop is the one that really gets me the most. It's almost like you want to kill the character. He's too old to be walking a beat. If he's walking a beat, he should just retire at the end of the day. I don't get it. I really don't get it at this point. Maybe a few more issues in, if I stay reading, it'll make more sense to me. But right now, I don't see the need for these changes. What's more telling, Batman is a top seller for DC, if not DC's top seller. Why did they feel the need to shake up this status quo? Is there something going on that we don't know? Is the bat starting to slow down? He's not moving. You can't just slap a bat on something and move a comic. So that's the other thing. Unless this was just like, hey, we want Matt Fraction to come on, and Matt Fraction is, well, I'm not coming on unless I can decimate everything that came before. So, I really don't know at this point. But now I get to sit back and hear what Mars has to say. This is what I've really been waiting for. Mars?
No, I kind of agree with you. The whole thing with Alfred is kind of ridiculous. It doesn't equate at the moment. I'm not sure what's happened to Alfred and why it has to be made into an AI. And what you just told me, it kind of shocked me. I thought Alfred was it. I did like the art, but so let me break it down. One of the reasons I'm having a whole problem with this new series, and I haven't had a chance to go through it yet, is that just a week before they dropped the Immortal Batman, we're still going through Batman Hush. We're still going through Long Halloween 2. Both of those are two. It's just too much. And then Absolute Batman is just taking the whole thing to a whole new series. Absolute Batman is selling so freaking much. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I'm just trying to find the numbers. Batman, you're saying Batman is still selling. Absolute, of course, is on the top. Just taking a look at ICV2 and their latest sales. The absolutes are doing fantastic overall. Those are what's actually moving DC. And DC, I guess, has decided, well, hey, we need to move the other titles because I'm thinking they're probably getting cannibalized or being hurt. But I take a look here. You still have Batman Hush in the top 20. You have Batman. What is it? You have two absolute Batmans. You have Batman, regular Batman going on there. So I'm not sure why they want to do this, but
Well,
the question comes down to the money too. It's like it's it's just to me insane that you have spread your main character so much. I mean, Disney doesn't even let Mickey Mouse go out. Mickey Mouse never leaves the House of Mouse. You know,
can they sell
um,
Mickey Mouse though?
yeah,
That's the problem.
they sell, but they don't
So
have
what
a
can they
million
sell Mickey
stores.
Mouse in? They can't do movies, can't do comic books. And he used to have his own strip. They can't do it. He's too cleaned up to do anything with.
No, they sell
No,
Mickey Mouse.
but I
They
disagree.
sell
I think
Mickey
it
Mouse on the Disney Channel from like ages of like what, 1 through 6. Mickey's top dog at the end of the day with the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, all the paraphernalia that goes along with that type of stuff. But
right, but it's a
we don't
consistent
really chime in
vision.
for that stuff, do we?
No, but I'm
I'm
saying it's a
saying about
consistent.
I'm saying about him as a character, not as a as a
Well, you're not selling
shooter.
Well, you're right. You're not selling Mickey Mouse comic books, and you'd be hard pressed to sell a Mickey Mouse movie at this point that's not straight to video.
All I'm
Well,
saying is that it just
will you?
saves.
I'm saying as a fan, can you just pick the one that you like and say I like this and not worry about the brand?
In terms of Batman or Mickey Mouse?
I'm saying to Mars, can you pick the
Oh,
Batman that you like and say, well, at least I like this one? I mean, at the same time, at some point with the
he
X
can't do
books,
that. He's conflicted.
you
And you know what it is? I was just telling you guys. I mean, I had a friend
We
of
know
mine who
which
was
one he
telling.
likes. Go ahead, Mars. Tell him which one's your favorite. We know which one your favorite is. Come on, come on.
So I was just telling someone was asking me, hey, which Batman should I get into? He wants to get into Batman. He's hearing all this stuff about Absolute. He's hearing this stuff about the Hush and Long Halloween. two, and I'm like, at this stage in Dark Knight, at this stage, I'm not even sure what I should recommend. If you start with Absolute Batman, you're going to be totally off the beaten track. Theoretically, it should be ending in some time, but it's making. Again, I look at the charts, and Absolute Batman 10 and 11 are in the top 20 comics sold. You're like, what the hell? You have the regular Batman title is further down, which is I think is down there, Detective, and then you have also Hush going on, which is the regular Batman. I can't tell you, and then of course the myriad of different Elseworlds or other versions of Batman. I just think that they're really oversaturating the brand, and here's the problem: any new artist that comes in that they get a writer, who do they give? They give them Batman,
If
right?
they're hot.
Well, look, I say, why didn't they put Bendis on Batman? They should have tried that. Probably that would have saved the whole company.
No, he
You
He
know.
wanted
did.
Ben. He wanted Daredevil. He wanted Daredevil and Batman. That's what the story he wants to do.
Yeah, so, but they gave him Superman, right? I
He did
mean,
do. He did have a Batman. He did a Batman run. It just wasn't the main title.
Mm.
so it's just to me, it just I'm a little disappointed, and that's why I've been slow to pick it up. And Absolute Batman is, I'm not. It's different. It's way different from what I would expect it to be, but it has more energy as a series
So
compared
that's
to
the one
what.
you would recommend then.
Again, I can't because the reason is that it's
Yeah,
going to
you
end.
can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. And you just did.
It's because it's going to end, bro. It's going to end. It's
You know what? It's no big deal.
unless absolute universe becomes the regular universe, which is very possible, or elements of that could be incorporated. Who knows?
Hey,
After
I'll
DCKO,
phrase
who
it
knows?
differently. Right now, of the Batman books that are out there, which one are you enjoying the most?
Can't answer. It's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. I can't say I love all of the books. I can't say I like any of the books.
I disagree.
Something tells.
I think Absolute's doing pretty good. I
All
think
right.
that
So would you say that Absolute Batman of the four is your, I don't know, absolute favorite?
I would not give it a strong absolute favorite, but it's the one that has the most energy going towards it and of interest.
All right.
It's not,
That's the one
you
you would
know,
recommend.
I don't know.
And you think Immortal Batman is a waste of time. You're probably not going to really be too invested into this because it looks too lightweight, and you're not reading any of that Dark Label stuff. It's absolutely all the time. No problem.
Okay, you know what? You got me a bit there. I'm not I have the Immortal Batman, and I've just been looking. It's just been looking at me, and I'm in like, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you, Brand. It's just a mess. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that comic.
Hey,
And
you picked it up. I don't even know what it's about. I don't even know what it's about. It's
well,
about.
hey, I picked up the House of L, and I started looking into it. And I was like, what? And I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I'll leave this for Cal to deal with
You
because
picked up a Superman. I'm sorry. I mean, you didn't. Okay, no problem.
it looked intriguing. I said, let me see what's going on, but.
You had to read. You had to read the War World saga in order to really understand what's going on there because it's a continuation of it.
Oh, okay. I mean, probably is, and that's why I said, I don't know what's going on with this stuff, but it looked intriguing. I said, House of L, were they going to the House of Zod? Is that going to come back and stuff like that? Who knows? But
Well, we're not doing House of L, but if we do, that's actually the first issue. The first issue was very good. It really falls in line with what came before.
okay,
And Philip Kennedy Johnson is telling a bigger, more mythological type of Superman story, which I've always enjoyed. So that's fine, but that's still within the continuity of what's going on right now. The Batman book here, and Absolute Bat. You've got at least four Batman titles out with Bruce Wayne as the lead, and three of them are each one is different than the other. So that I guess that could be challenging if you're trying to tell somebody where to come in. But if you're if you're enjoying Absolute Batman the best, I suppose that's the recommendation. The only trouble with that, and this is where I would agree with you, I don't think I should be recommending the alternative universe title to someone. I should be able to like plug them into the main universe title because that's going to be the one that's going to hang around after everything else is said and done.
yeah, and that would be last month's number 27, Detective Comics 1100.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but right below that is the Immortal Legend of Batman at 31, or do I go at number one, Batman 11, Absolute Batman 11, which is the number one seller? The number two seller is Absolute Superman, then Amazing Spider-Man. Then we go down to the next Batman is I think Absolute Batman number 50, and number 10 is is number 40 or something like that. No, 45, and Batman 161, which is Batman Hush. It's like I don't know what to do, bro. I really just don't know. And that's just that. I mean, let's even talk about like the absolutes. By the way, the Wonder Woman absolute. I don't know if you guys know about that. Actually, won the Eisner. I was told.
Oh, cool.
It won the Eisner.
I think they said it won the Eisner. Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, I would have to double check that, but let me just type it in right now. Wonder Woman, because I know it was nominated. I think it was. They said best new series. Yeah, Absolute Wonder Eisner first. Absolute Wonder Woman series won best new series. Yep. So, I mean, total, complete, goony goo, different take on Wonder Woman. You know, and that hasn't been bad either. But it's like, how do you recommend this when you're talking about, like you said, it's like a complete elsewhere title. Yeah, this goes back to what we've talked about many, many times. If you recommend, if someone says, "Hey, yo, I want to read an Invincible movie," I mean, I want to read Invincible. Where do I start? I'll say Invincible number one, right?
So what? Well, think about it
You
like
Oh
know,
this.
yes.
You
Oh
just
yes.
yeah. But you say, where do you recommend someone in a modern Marvel DC comic start? A lot of these times, you're not even sure.
same with Spider-Man though. Which one? Some people might give you Ultimate Spider-Man.
No way, no way. They can't get you Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean, but there is probably somebody under 25 or something.
Well, some people give you Miles Morales, and you're like, I thought it was Peter Parker.
Isn't Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales?
No, I'm saying in terms of Spider-Man, you're like, okay, where do I start? Somebody like, hey, where do I read Spider-Man? And you don't differentiate, and you think, well, hey, I guess you mean this guy, right? No, no, I meant the other one.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the brand. There was a time I remember we were talking about this. I think Cal, we were talking about the CW, where at one point they had, um, I mean, they had a Batman in the movie theater. They had the Batman in on Channel 5. What was that called? The little
Gotham,
boy Gotham. They had a
trash.
Batman animated show series. I mean, they had like 4 or 5 iterations of Batman going on at the same time. And you're like, wait a second. And then, oh, within a year or two of each other, and you're like, which is which? I mean, if you, depending on where, even if you started at Gotham, it doesn't continue. The continuity doesn't continue. It's just totally different, you know, how the
They
movie
got
went.
I think they got lucky at that time period because nobody was really concerned about the Batmans outside of the Batman that they were watching. So I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of the people watched Gotham and then were like, oh, but I'm going to make the jump over here to the Dark Knight Rises. These guys were happy watching Gotham, and then maybe they jumped to watch Pennyworth or something, but it wasn't an issue. I don't know if you can do the same thing now though. And but the other thing is I've never seen something like this in the comics where there's this much differentiation between DC is good for having alternate universes. That's not a problem. But then you got like 4 or 5 different comics and each Batman is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you got, I give DC, at least in the CW, uh, a big applaud, because they at least started to make sure that the heroes that they had were different from the ones that they had on in the comics, right? There was no, you weren't mixing up Smallville. You knew that was Superman or Superboy, right? There was no mixing up the Arrow, right? This iteration of the Arrow was completely different. Legends of Tomorrow, they made them distinctive enough. But the only unfortunate thing is that you have then they're like, hey, no, we want to use these characters for something else. You had a Waller in Arrow that then they said, nah, nah, don't use that anymore. Suicide Squad, we're going to do our own version in the movies. And so now you had two versions of it. But you don't have two green arrows, right? There's only one, and that was a good thing. There's no two Legends of Tomorrow. There's only one. Their version of the Atom is the only one that was there. I think it made it better doing it that way. But when you start having characters, I mean, even the Flash, there were no fourth. Well, they did try to introduce a Flash that was just completely panned because we all know the Flash from CW was way better. Am I correct? And in fact, they're talking about probably Gunn is talking about probably bringing. Well, the rumor is they're gonna bring him back into it. You know,
Bring it back.
Fish
Greg
steak,
Gustin. Huh?
fish steak.
Yeah, I mean, so we can talk about that because I think that will play into our next video on suicide. But it's I just think the branding sucks, man, and I think you're gonna lose. I think in the end one, my fear is that you're gonna use the young people who are interested in this stuff because you spread it so far. From the characters, even from the video games to what it is, like from the Injustice line of games to comics and stuff like that. Again, you put me onto this. Invincible, there's just one thing. Where do I start? I want to watch Invincible. I want to understand where Invincible comes from. Where do I start, Cal? Issue
Invincible,
one.
Invincible
Issue
one.
one. Exactly.
All
Not
right.
not Matt Fraction's interpretation or Tim
I'll
Sales.
I'll
Am I wrong?
I'll
That's what I'm
add
saying. Am I wrong? Shoot me if I'm wrong.
I'll add this in there. Since even though there was a Batman special in the early '80s, like with the Killing Joke, there was always some sort of Batman specials after like the Dark Knight came out. I'll say the biggest issue, and I have to agree, and we've already said many times that DC will put out Batman everything. The bigger issue, even though they have Batman everything, you don't do Hush 2 and Long Halloween at the same time. Even though the approaches are the same, you fight your feet. If you these are fan books. You want to do Hush for however long that is, and then the Long Halloween for however long that. I'll give them a couple months, then here's long. But it's like, like feels like a cash out for or saying this is the thing that Marvel used to do. Let's feed off the buzz of a title. So you'd have Ghost Rider, and then you would have another Ghost Rider title, Spirits of Vengeance, Blade, Mobius, and then they did at the same time a little while after that. It said, okay, there's this, Byrne doing the original X-Men. Let's do Children, let's put out Children of the Atom by Steve Root at the same month. So you shouldn't anything that's gonna be, especially something that's really just for the fans that like it. Like, come on, like give some space in between these things. So I think that's the big thing because they're gonna always put another Batman project out while they have a buzz on the regular Batman project. They've had a buzz for Batman since the New 52, and then now it's like, but they're having these long series which can bleed you away from taking a couple dollars that you have and buying a three-issue miniseries because that's what they were doing in the '80s. Oh, okay, I got this. Here's a one shot. Here's a Gotham by Gaslight. Here's the Killing Joke. Oh, here's the cult and that sort of thing. But now it's like here's six. So I guess Hush is 6 issues, and the Long Halloween, since of course it has to be long, is going to be 12 or 13. The first one was 13. So and Long Victory was our Dark Victory was another 12 to 13 issues, but it just doing it at the same time by the same writer is just doing too much at once. So you already have two or three projects, but then you added your special, you're adding a third Batman title, which is the Absolute, and then now you're trying to do year long special projects. Is just too much at one time. So I agree. I'm just saying specifically that they shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I think P. I commend you. I don't know. I meant to say that. It's a clap, standing ovation. The what do you call this? The big heavy. The power pound. Is there anything else? The idiocy of this putting both of them out at the exact same time. The idiocy of coming out with Absolute Batman. The idiocy of coming out with two new titles for Batman makes no freaking sense. Because you know what all this all sounds like? Cannibalization, if I'm saying that correctly.
They've been doing that with Batman
Cannibalization.
for years, though.
Huh?
They've been doing that with Batman for years. This
No,
isn't
but
new. This
I
is
think it's different now. I think before it was just like all these different elsewhere titles and stuff like that. But this is basically what's what? I mean, they're almost on par with one another. Who in the world say the Absolute Batman is not currently on par with the one coming out with Jimenez? I mean, who's the one who with Matt Fraction or on par with Detectives? Dude, it's kicking their butts, And DC is opposed to they're trying to say, well, hey, let's revamp it and put another comic book down. Yeah, I just think it's just bad marketing. I think it's just going to confuse the audience. It's only for the fanboys, and that's it. In the
I
end of,
don't think it'll confuse the audience, but I do think you have pulled Batman like Taffy for so many years. I don't know how much more elasticity he has. That's more my concern. Maybe I well, I'll amend what I said. I think you might be have more of a point than I'm seeing in terms of the audience being confused, and that'll aid in the inelasticity of the Batman's character because this guy has just been he's been pumped so much. And I mean, the fact that I'm seeing him here in the comics, I remember there's some random ad for State Farm Insurance.
Well, that's not random. That's a big. This is a big.
oh yeah, yeah.
No, I mean
People
it's
say
just
that's the
like
real one. Actually, that's the
I'm
best one.
looking at it and I'm like, usually when you see ads like that, they're in conjunction with the film or something. And
Mm,
it's just like, no, let's just do an
okay,
ad. And you know
I
what? Let's
get it.
let's put Batman in it. And I'm like, okay, so Batman just can appear up randomly without any connection in ad, no problem. There's 4 or 5 of them running around, over there in DC Comics. You got the Lego Batman. You got the. After a while, it becomes like, characters do have a limit in how much you can actually move them. And well, I thought he reached his limit a while ago, and you can see like the character has to like kind of snap back into shape. So I would think that that's part of it, but they're still pulling.
They are pulling, bro. They are pulling. I mean, and I think the fear is I've come to is that every week they release a new graphic novel, and you guys all see this, and it's always a Batman title, right? It's just they're just now. PD's brought this up so many times about it's just being a print shop, right? So they're making so much money off of Batman. They're just printing out new. The old ones are coming on. So again, this hit me just. I guess I don't know if it's an existential issue for me where I'm like, how do I recommend someone to enter this who's never really looked into it? What do I say, right? Just
Um,
get into the one that you like, because I mean they have some good quality um, graphic novels or omnibus or the people coming and I would love to recommend it, but I don't know where to I just don't know where to start.
Now,
So
I wish
if
I could help you because see, like with Superman, I know where to tell people to start, but with Batman, I don't know. I haven't followed his series regularly for a long time. And it used to be I could tell people like if you wanted to start right here with the Batman Year One, and then go to Batman Year Two, and that would at least give you a grounding for the character. But with the New 52, and then all that stuff Scott Snyder did, and then Tom King on the title, there's a lot of stuff that happened, and I'm not
yeah,
really sure what. I mean, I am more familiar with the new status quo is than what the previous one was. So it's very hard for me. It would be very hard for me to tell someone because they have to go back and read if they want to understand how we got here. But I would be hard pressed to tell them like, no, start right about here, and you should be fine. I can't even give you like a good origin story. Like, no, read this, and that'll put you in the know, and then you can just jump from there. I couldn't even tell you that at this point.
yeah. Well, I mean, and to confuse this better, and I don't know if this is a negotiating tactic. I have to jump over to the Batman and the DCU. Is that I don't know. They've been trying to get. I guess Gunn and them have been trying to get the Matt Reeves Batman. They would like to get him into the whole DCU, but I guess Matt Reeves' deal is that Batman is separate. His interpretation of Batman is separate. So now I was just watching something. I think it was Emergency Awesome, where they were saying,
He
"Hey,
doesn't want to play.
so now Gunn is talking about doing a similar like world of Batman, getting a new Batman who's in a similar type of world, but different from Matt Reeves. I don't know if he's trying to do that to push pressure on Matt Reeves to cave and say, hey, you know what, let him join, or Patterson to say, hey, let me join the DCU or whatever. But I can't imagine you're gonna have two Batmans being in the DCU, and it just I think it's more of a negotiating tactic. That's my take on it.
isn't
But to
that the
do
plan though? Didn't
no,
didn't
no, I
Ian
think
Gunn also have the Batman and Robin thing or whatever the title
yeah,
was with the
he's
older
already
Batman?
he's introduced him in Creature Commando, and so you see that there was a Batman. You see but the point of the matter is that I think it's more of a negotiating tactic to probably get Matt Reeves and Patterson to come into the DCU or to be used somewhat probably loosely. But you can't have a super a Justice League without Batman, right? So You can have the Justice Gang all you want, but there's no Justice League without Batman.
Sure you
And if
can.
We'll
that's the oh,
see.
what? What'd you
We'll
say?
see. We'll
Whoa,
see.
whoa, 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 whoa. What'd you say, Cal? I
Huh?
know. Bite your tongue, bro. You know, there can be no Justice League without Batman. Okay.
If you say so.
Petey? Petey? Petey, what were you gonna say, bro?
I said, I don't think so. He can do whatever he wants. And with them joking around, the whole part is like I think they figured a middle ground towards the. I think when Batman came back and was like kind of playing, being going undercover for the team, he started to figure out his role in it, and it'd be kind of pulled back more than it was because in the early one, those first I don't know, was it first 10 to 12 issues? Batman was like, basically a part of the team, and obviously get the fight between Guy Gardner and Batman, and of course, obviously, Gunn wants to do that, but he didn't. When he left, it wasn't. I didn't necessarily miss him. I was still buying the title. But then when he came back, it was fun. So it was like, but he was a different. He was kind of more pulled back. It was more John Jones was the leader, and he kind of figured it out from there. So. And I don't think was he. I think the issue when they were in space, Batman wasn't in that one. But they had Superman and Hawkman and all these other people. So I can say you don't have to do it. I like when he comes back to it, but at the same time, this title that he has here, who is it going to be? Robert Pattinson's going to be in there. That's what you want to happen, or he's going to do what he wants to do, which is recast. They can't do it. They're stuck. They're in a bind.
You
Not,
can't have two Batmans in the same space. And what you just said, first of all, is sacrilege. And I'm not even gonna. I don't even know why we gave you the space to say what you had to say. You had some good points, but then you just went down the rabbit hole. You can't be two Batmans in the TV show in movies at the same time. It makes absolutely no sense. It doesn't make any sense. And so I'll go back to the whole premise of
contracts.
there are too many damn Batmans going on right now.
It'll
You know what I'm
be
trying
the
to say?
Hulk in the regular universe and Hulk in Heroes Reborn. It just split them, and you
Well,
fans figure it out. That's what they're doing.
I mean, well, it kind of also reminds me of what happened with the X-Men, right? Where they created so many X titles that it just watered down the brand to the point where it's like, where do we go from here, right?
Yeah, you know where they went. No more mutants, and we're gonna soon have no more Batman.
Well, absolutely. Ultimate Wolverine did pretty well. You know what I'm trying to say? They're in the top 10.
No, I'm talking at
No,
the time when you had literally some mutants were supposed to be a minority group, and every other person popping out was a mutant.
Good point. Good point. Yes, that
the
is true.
the mutants. The thing is, you have to look at it differently, and that also falls into the crash because even when the crash happened, the X titles were still going. There were less of them, but somehow with any sort of expansion, it's whatever the audience can take, and they were able to take it. The only person who was able to break the X titles for real was Bendis. He took Wolverine out, and they also sidelined the X Men for the because of Fox. So they still had X Men stuff going on, but then they maximized it by taking Wolverine, put him in the Avengers, and then ultimately killing Wolverine. And then we're sitting around with a title Spider-Man and the X-Men survived the crash. Even though obviously over time it was slowing down, even by the almost 2000s, Spider-Man had 4 titles, and they said when they decided to bring it down to 2 and some specials, they realized they shouldn't have done it. They said never, as long as you have those titles going, you don't get rid of titles to try to cull it down to something else to make it more manageable. You have to, as long as the interest is still there, you keep doing it. That's the only reason why there was so many. Whether it was hard for other people to get in, yeah, I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, as long as they're rolling and you just cancel X Factor, you just cancel what's that thing, Excalibur, and you still have X Men, 2 X Men titles, and whatever Generation X or something like that, or then you call it, as time goes along. But the hard part is just as over time allowing those to die down because as long as you have a successful title, you got to keep doing it. The difference in Batman is just like we've been doing it, we've been pushing it further. Now the excess for the X titles, I can say, Excalibur was excess because they there was excess that worked. They didn't need to do another X title, but Chris Claremont wanted to keep Alan Davis, and it worked. In this case, it's just like, people saying, can we get another? That's the same thing that was happening to Tom DeFalco. They were having these profit margins, and then they were like, wow, 91 was great. Can you beat that? And then 92 was even better. And they're like, can you beat that? And then even though they're not beating it, maybe they got close in 93. But then they're like, can you still, we need to beat that. So they keep, and then at some point they're like, get out of here, DeFalco. We're putting the editors, we're putting these editors that are already running their titles, they're going to be their own faction. They're like, no, Bob Harris, he's the editor. He's been running the titles and making the successful titles. He's been the most successful. He's been running it, so let's give it to him. So the hard part is dealing with that success and people asking you to do more. And this is what it seems like. DC is like, well, these other things aren't selling. Let's do another Batman title, or another number one, which is, we have Todd McFarlane saying, and he was consistent on the number ones. He never, his team did a multiple number ones, but he didn't. If he did a new Spawn series, it was the number one because it was new, his Spawn title. But he can say, hey, it's a hoax.
Number one.
It's all fake, doing a new number one. And it's like, you got a guy who's had many publishing fiascos go on, and he's right, So, yeah. So.
And I agree with you on many of that, PD, but I just want to clarify. When I say X titles, of course, I'm talking about they actually have like 5 or 6 X titles in the top 50, like Magic and Psylocke, right?
The new
Ultimate
ones,
Wolverine, yeah, new ones, and
even though
Ultimate.
some of those failed. I'm just asking. I'm
No,
not.
no, like Ultimate, like Psylocke,
Okay.
Magic, Ultimate Wolverine,
From
but
a from a
but the
lapsed X-Men fan and the person who's addicted to the title, I can't imagine people buying those titles right now. I'm sorry to say.
yeah, but they still have Uncanny X-Men is still in the top 10. They still have and this is ICV2.
What
You
is
still
JDA saying that the X titles totally failed? The new relaunch totally.
No, the teams didn't do as well as they'd hoped, some of them,
Okay.
but the individuals have been holding up, and some of the teams have been holding up. But
Okay.
like X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, Ultimate X-Men are doing still decently.
The Peach
Um,
Loco thing.
Wolverine, I'm not even touching it. Wolverine number 12 was doing well. X-Men
Okay.
21.
All right. So
But
the
in terms of,
DC Marvel isn't totally out.
well, I mean, look,
They've been saying they're totally out, and then
Marvel
yeah.
is based on certain verticals. You have the Spider-Man vertical, that's all the Spider-Man titles. You have the X-Men titles and stuff like that. And then you have, I don't even know if you're going to call it the Avengers or Avengers related titles, you know. So those are like the big 3 verticals there. Like they have the whole Batman stuff, then the Superman. Like how many titles are in Superman, Kyle?
Right now, let's
Yeah,
see, just Superman, not Superman related, right?
yeah, Superman related.
And Superman related.
Yeah, Superman
Oh
related.
man, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
Damn.
Wow. But I gotta say, DC there has been a resurgence of Superman, right? If you go to the comic book stores, you see, and you also see the numbers here. You do see
They
a
had to
couple of Superman
mandate it.
titles.
They had to mandate it though.
You have Superman, the
So
Kryptonite.
who's the head of
Uh,
Warner Brothers again?
this guy is
Zaslav.
Zaslav, yeah, the guy who ran Discovery.
I don't know if it was him or someone else, but they sat down and they were taking a look at everything, and they pointed out, they was like, wait a minute, I don't understand. We got Superman, right? He's like, yeah. So why isn't he selling?
Mhm.
Oh, well, this, that, and the other. He was like, that's ridiculous. He's like, we got this character and we can't sell him. He was like, that's utterly ridiculous. This guy should be selling more. He's like, I don't know what you people are doing, but this guy needs to be selling more. And then they were like, well, I guess we got to do a little bit more because they've been coasting on Batman for so long, and it made no sense that you got a character. I mean, seriously, that's like I've got Spider-Man and the X-Men, and I can only sell the X-Men. People are looking at me like, what do you mean you can't sell Spider-Man? How hard is this? So, that's that's for Superman. I just worry that Batman has already reached the end of his elasticity, and he's like snapping back into shape. And by the time people realize it, it'll just be like that nice little pinch on your wrist from it finally meeting contact. I don't disagree with anything that either of you guys had to say, but I'll use one of Mars's favorite phrases. We will see. We will see, huh?
Yeah, we will see. We will see. So, hey, is there anything more to cover on this topic here?
No.
I think
I'm good.
All right, then. Hey, if you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Spin a rack.
We are
Out.